Doug Gottlieb tweeted out that biggest myth is, New York City basketball. And what it was in reference to that I was looking for was this was about the St. John's basketball job that Bobby Hurley decided to stay at Arizona State. And, Doug put it out there, and then all of a sudden, Stephon Marbury started crushing Doug Gottlieb personally, never answering the question that Doug posed in the first place or the statement that he posed. And then Baron Davis even came in for, a late, swing at the knockout here with Doug Gottlieb. So I thought, wait a minute, they're not answering the question what Doug is talking about. There have been great basketball players from New York City, historical ones, but they're overhyped. I can look at, as many as you can say, oh, you got Kareem and you got Bob Cousy, you got Chris Mullin, but I got Felipe Lopez, Sebastian Telfair. There's so many guys who've been overhyped because it's New York City. And I think that appeared to be what Doug was trying to say. And it's a fair topic there. And Doug Gottlieb joins us now. Well, you started it, Doug. Are you happy?
Yeah, I have no problem with it. I mean, I actually really enjoyed watching Baron Davis play growing up. My dad thought he had a chance to be the greatest point guard to ever play. And maybe if he didn't hurt his knee in college, he would have been. But I don't know where he obviously just has no idea what he's talking about. My dad's actually a New Yorker. He's not alive, so he can't defend himself. But he told me he was the first white guy to ever play at the Rucker. His nickname was the white boy from Long Island. So we used to go back every summer, and he'd get me in games at West Fourth, which is a famous pickup ball area, and go to Harlem and play and whatever. So it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about with New York. It's just the idea. Look around the NBA playoffs, and you tell me where all the New Yorkers are. Oh, the great New York City point guards, of the past. They're of the past. Of the past 10, 15 years, where are they?
What is the reason?
Where are they? And I think there's a myriad of reasons. I would guess a lot of it's at the grassroots level. I know, a lot of the kids, in high school, they end up going to New England prep schools, but it's got to be something in terms of the cost of living in the city, that people are spread out to different suburbs. I think a lot of the population obviously has moved to Texas and Florida. I mean, those are in California. Those are well springs for, great talent. But I also think the way in which the game is taught. And, think about who's playing right now in the NBA playoffs. There's 16 teams. There's 15 guys on teams. Where are the New Yorkers? Whereas plenty of LA guys, there's Seattle guys, there's dudes from Texas and guys from Florida and Charlotte and D.C. and Baltimore and Philly. There's lots of Philly dudes, there's plenty of European players. And so, the thought is, well, like St. John's job is open. Why wouldn't anybody take it? Because you got all those ball players. There's not the depth of talent. There's Cole Anthony, Greg Anthony's son, and that's about it in terms of the top level guys. They're not popping out the players like they used to. And yeah, the East Coast guys were always overhyped. That was kind of part of the deal.
And there have been great ones, I
love the fact that
you got Kenny Anderson, Chris Mullin, Mark Jackson, Ron Artest, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, there's a lot of players, but the point that you're saying is, where are they now? And maybe that St. John's job is not as coveted as it would have been when Louis Carnesecca was there.
No question about it. No question about it. I do think it's funny that Steph started by talking about how he killed me every time he played against me. I was on the same basketball floor as him once.
How did it go?
The Magic's Round Ball Classic. Chauncey Billups got hurt, and so I got a last minute call, and I got selected. Sonny Vaccaro always sponsored our teams, and you had to be a Sonny guy in order to get an invite to that thing, unless you were like a top 5 dude. And I held my own. He didn't play well. He was like 1 of 9 from the floor. He kept shooting jump shots. He kept missing. And, so this idea that they would take turns, I mean, like, okay, that's not the way I remember it. And I have tapes of every game. So that's okay. Like, look, this is the untold story about, if you want to be a white point guard in basketball, you're going to have guys that come at you because they think, well, your dad got you there, or you're only there because you're the token white dude. That's okay. Like, that's part of the trash talk is part of the sport, very much. And either you can play, you can't play, and ultimately that gets exposed. So look, he had all world talent. I thought you said it best. Like, if I was born with his athletic gifts, I'd still be playing in the NBA, be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But, I'm not going to sit here and turn it into personal, for Steph. All I can tell you is he said on Twitter, as you said, he changed what I was discussing and made it personal about me and about my late dad, and it was just not true. I mean, look, this tape that exists. It's the 1995 Magic's Round Ball Classic, and he didn't do any. There's nothing really special about the game that day, so I don't really know what he's talking about.
Did you play?
Look, on Twitter, you can just make things up.
But did you play against him in basketball camp?
No, not once. He was in ABCD. We literally never. He was on the other court. But again, this is like kind of typical for New York guys, right? Like there's a famous game. The ABCD was at Fairleigh Dickinson going to my senior year, and he had a move where he crossed up two dudes and dunked on a Donna Foyle, and they stopped the game with 30 seconds to go. It's one of the best dunks I've ever seen live. My game had just finished on the opposite court. But that's New York City stuff where they would rather stop a game because the guy dunked on somebody than actually play to win the basketball game.
Okay. So what if I set this up, Doug?
Doug. One more time. One more. I got a good one.
Okay.
The New York Gauchos had a team with Shamgod Wells. It's God Shamgod, Felipe Lopez, and Stephon Marbury. And everyone said, hey, if you want to play the Gauchos, play them in the morning because those dudes, they hoot with the Owls. And sure enough, they got beat by, I think, Maceo Baston's team in Dallas. We were at the same tournaments. Their teams had more talent or athletic talent. They just didn't win anything because they were so busy being New York dudes and hanging out.
Do you, if I could set it up on West 4th Street, you against Stephon Marbury, one-on-one, and I'm 4 blocks away from the West 4th Street cage, would you take on Stephon Marbury right now?
I'd take him on, but I get beat. I mean, again, the game, basketball's not played one-on-one. Basketball's a 5-on-5 game. And, by the way, he's still a professional basketball player. I talk for a living. My playing days are over. I play in celebrity games against TV hacks only, and dudes that are badly out of shape. But, I'd play. I'd have fun. It'd be great. I have no doubt that he is still more athletically more gifted than I would. But I'll tell you what, you give me 4 dudes that can play, and you give him 4 dudes that can play, we have a chance.
I love it.
Last time I checked, we play sports to have more points than the other team.
How about you get the Danettes against Stephon Marbury?
I said guys that can play.
Okay. All right. My bad. My bad. Yeah.
Can I get you? Can I get you spotted up in the corner?
Yeah, that's me in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. Yep, I'll be there. I'd be more than happy to help you out a little bit against Marbury. I still think that was the point I was trying to make. Stephon Marbury better be better than you. Right. They're missing the point. Nobody answered the question of what you said, and it's a valid question. St. John's is not a coveted job.
Well, look, in fairness, I didn't contextualize it. That's part of
That's
Twitter.
True.
You get more than 140 characters you want. And, but the idea that you take that and you make it this personal thing, and then the lack of, it's no disrespect, a little disrespect to Baron Davis. I've forgotten more about basketball and even New York basketball than he'd know, right? And I was a lot of things as a player. I couldn't shoot. If you left me alone in the gym, I'd struggle to score 10 points. But I definitely was not a soft basketball player. No one ever accused me of being soft. So I don't know where that comes from, right? I think he thinks I have it out for him because I wanted to transfer to UCLA and they chose him over me. They'd have to be idiots to not choose Baron Davis over me. He was right. So just to prove that Jim Herrick and Steve Lavin were not complete idiots, they chose correctly. Anyway, the point is, should I have contextualized it and said, hey, where are the players the last 10, 15 years?
Yes.
Why is and I mean, look, Toronto's pumping out player after player after player. Look at all these guys from the GTO, the Greater Toronto Area. There's 10 times the players coming out of there than are coming out of New York City. I'm not doing a history lesson as to why, but just look at the numbers of college players that are contributing and then the NBA players. Who's still playing? Where are they from? And why is that? And let's trace that back. And for a city that boasts itself as the greatest producer of basketball talent, that is all huff and bluster that lacks reality in the last 10 to 15 years.
Thank you, Doug. We appreciate it.
Anytime, Dave.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV, stream for free on BR Live, or download the Dan Patrick Show app.